In today's news, government lifts ban on large bikes.
Governor makes clear a 2020 vision.
Opposition clarifies budget debate conflict.
Former hospital CEO sentenced to 10 years in prison. And a very special interview with BVI's youngest entrepreneur and...
As well as Mr. Ramon G, who has advanced to the finals of Croix Soca Monarch competition. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.
Welcome everybody, it's Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. I'm Ron Grant.
And I am Javon Wilson. Lots to get into, Ron.
Indeed.
Today we're just going to head straight into it with your first story.
Indeed. The government of the Virgin Islands, in its recent cabinet meeting dated November 29th, 2019, have released the cabinet decisions. One of the many articles that have garnered much attention is the lifting of a ban on large engine bikes. Presently, it is illegal to have motorbikes above 125cc in the territory, but that is now a thing of the past. The document clearly outlines the following. Cabinet has agreed that the Minister of Finance may very well import or grant the permission to import and export restrictions on the 125cc engine size limit on motorcycles and their parts pursuant to the Customs Management and Duties Act 2010, Section 85. Additionally, pursuant to the decision, the Minister of Finance shall allow increased engine size on the number of conditions. Among the conditions is the Department of Motor Vehicles licensing merchandise for motorcycles be revamped, to impose a prolonged licensing regimen, basic training, exciting programs compulsory for every motorcycle rider, theoretical testing, full riding testing, minimum age limit for large cc engine sizes, minimum riding experience for larger cc and engine sizes, and the importation as collectibles for static displays. It was further decided that the importation and sale of all motorcycles is only prohibited to sale of the motorcycles dealers authorized by the government of the Virgin Islands, who have decided that any persons desirous of importing a motorcycle to the territory must obtain a certificate from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Also, the revamping the existing license mechanisms for motorcycles will ensure that all riders would have demonstrated their competence and safe level of riding on public roadways by age and experience, and he or she has received instruction in operations, maintenance, emergencies, defensive riding, judgment, and use of safety equipment from a DMV-approved program. Now, this comes, Jovan, as great news to the biking community, who have for years been calling for amendments to the laws. However, it does come as a surprise. It does not, come as a surprise, as it was mentioned by the Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Andrew Foy, and Minister of Communications and Works, the Honorable Kai Reimer, in March of this year, that this would be taking place. Minister Reimer had suggested earlier the legal engine size be increased to 600cc with the appropriate control measures in place to continue a safe cycling environment. Jovan, this news comes on the heels of the recent announcement that the government of the Virgin Islands will be seeking to locate property to develop a drag racing facility. While bike enthusiasts are pleased with the decision, of course, some residents are not so sold on it. Some have raised concerns via social media, such as what are the stipulations for operating these large bikes? Will this go hand in hand with the proposed drag racing facility? Is it a free-for-all? What about noise control and accident prevention? One resident said, road bikers and cyclists are engaged in road accidents and fatalities among the most. Will we continue to see a rise in accidents on the road? Jovan, what are your thoughts?
I think not even mine. I think the territory in a whole is split on this decision because we continue to see, the accident numbers, for example, at an all-time high. We've reviewed quite a number of those right here on this very newscast. A lot of our riders, and I don't speak for all of them because we know a huge majority comply with the road rules, but a lot of our riders are still riding without helmets. They're in and out of traffic. We see this on a daily basis. They're not complying with the rules. So now that you're empowering them in this way, a lot of persons are, I think, legitimately concerned about the safety. Early in the year, we reflected on the commissioner's response. He said, we really need to take a comprehensive look at, raising the ban on these bikes. You have to look at riders' behavior. You have to look at the law as it is. You also have to look at the roads that we have. Are all those things accommodated?
Measures,
right, of this new, I guess. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I know for sure that the territory is half and half on this. Viewers, moving right along, the member of the opposition on Monday, December 15th, met with the press to clarify what they claim are misconstrued statements made in the media surrounding their absence from the budget debate that occurred on December 14th, 2019. It was initially reported that only the 6th District Representative, which is Honorable Alvaro Maduro Keynes, she was present of the 5-member opposition team. As a result, the Speaker of the House then attempted to conclude the debate within 15 minutes of deliberation. Honorable Fraser has since labeled the Speaker's approach as a, quote, rookie move, saying, procedurally, the Speaker did everything right. However, I consider it to be a rookie indiscretion by closing down the debate for something as important as the budget, and knowing the challenges that we went through with the budget process. It was wrong to have done what they were trying to do. He further said, the reason I use the term rookie is because I've been there and I've seen similar instances. I've been there where we've seen a former speaker in a budget situation recess to the following day because the leader of the opposition wasn't there. The government knew exactly what we were doing. The government could have done the exact same thing that this, of course, referring to the previous government, did by deciding to recess the House to the following day so that everyone can participate, end of quote. Now displeased by the Speaker's attempt to wrap up the debate, despite the fact that he, Honorable Penn, communicated hours prior that he will be late due to a hospital emergency, he still had this to say. Listening. Javon Wilson, 284 Media. Now, considering the standing finance report being sent out late, the minutes, as well as what you guys said, a premature wrap-up of the budget, do you think this was a blatant attempt by, let's say, the Speaker, because it was revisited by the government to open back the debate, to block the opposition of their responsibility to partake?
As you heard the man for the third mention, it was a rookie mistake by the Speaker. I thought the Speaker acted in bad taste in wrapping up the process. Several things could have happened. He could have called a recess, especially after I personally called the Speaker at 9, I think it was 9:10 or 9:06 in the morning, telling him of my intent to be there to be the debate about it, because I had a hospital emergency, a medical emergency, and I said I would not be there no later than 11 o'clock. I was there 11 o'clock on the dot. The meeting started at 10:51 thereabouts. And to wrap up the meeting 9 minutes after, when you know that one of the other senior members of the House has reached out to you, leader of opposition reached out to you, asked you to communicate to the other members of the House of my intent that I will be late, because I'm mostly always there on time. I will be late, and my intent to debate the budget. And then he would wrap up the debate and not call a recess, so at least give the leader opposition, not Marlon Penn, but the leader opposition an opportunity to be there for that 11 o'clock time that we discussed between myself and the Speaker to ensure that debate continued. It suggests that something sinister was afoot.
Honorable Penn, when questioned on whether the Speaker acknowledged his emergency and agreed to hold, said the Speaker did acknowledge his message and decided to hold, but never told the members of the House. He said, quote, I believe if the Premier knew that, he would not have allowed it to happen, because I don't see him being so irrational or irresponsible in the process. And the fact that the Speaker knew that and never communicated that to the Premier was very unfortunate from my point of view. So it suggests to me that something sinister was afoot in the entire process, especially after we waited for 3.5 hours on Thursday for the members of the government to show up, and for the very Speaker who wasn't present until 3.5 hours later, and he couldn't wait 10 minutes for the members of the opposition. Now, Ron, fair enough. We can understand Honorable Penn's stance if he indeed had an emergency and would have communicated that and still wasn't given a fair opportunity to partake. And of course, Honorable Alvaro Keynes, who was present, also later attested to the fact that Honorable Mitch Turnbull as well, which is the representative for the 2nd District,
Correct.
He as well was present. But the opposition comprises of 5 members, inclusive of Honorable Fraser, who at the press conference said he didn't think he needed to be there at that time, and Honorable Vanterpool, both of which were also absent, without excuse. And this was not a regular sit-in, viewers. This is one of the most critical pieces of legislation to be passed annually. Why weren't the members present? Inexcusable, I think, Ron, some would have said. Then there's the other side of the spectrum, our government. Now, up until the opposition's upset and refusal to close budget, no member of government stood up when cued by the Speaker to debate the $414 million budget. Opposition member Alvaro later said that she wasn't quite ready, since the minutes as well as the draft budget, they were both sent around 10 p.m. the night before the budget, which she claims did not give her enough time to prepare. So essentially, no one debated the budget until the Speaker rescinded his decision, which was prompted, get this, when the Premier made a decision to meet with the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Marlon Penn, after, of course, considering the circumstances. It was only after then that the Speaker of the House decided, okay, we can restart that process. And viewers, even prior to that decision, our newsroom heard that there was anarchy in the House. Observers said even police were summoned to the scene as a result of the disturbances. Thankfully, however, all members of the House would eventually be able to make their various contributions to the debate and eventually pass the $414 million budget. Now, Ron,
Very interesting happenings at the House of Assembly. It reminds me of the former Speaker of the House of Assembly, the Honorable Ingrid Moses Scatliff, who often used to get on members for their tardiness and coming to the House of Assembly very late without excuse, without calling. I do understand that there are matters that happen that prevent members sometimes from being, but I think in the final analysis, what is important is that examples be set from the highest precedent, that it trickles down, straight down. Kyle and I did a story yesterday with a young man, Mr. Hodge, who was involved in a shooting accident, and it warrants the same thing. Our example needs to be from the top straight down, so that persons within the community could understand the simple meaning of keeping time, especially when you are called to lead a territory and to be in a position of such. I think there's no excuse on both parts, to be honest with you.
Yes, you're part of the highest decision-making
so get
body.
It together, simply.
This is the House of Assembly. This is not a party. And like you rightfully said, tardiness has been an issue we've been trying to grapple with over the years. Right. And if our leaders are not leading by example, then who do we look to? You know what I mean? Viewers, still ahead, we have a very special live interview. Two of them, actually. One with the BVI's youngest entrepreneur. I'm very excited to get into that with her. As well as Mr. Ramon G.
Talented
He's representing, he's representing in the United States Virgin Islands. These and more stories. When 284 News returns.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life.
We will live well.
Welcome back, viewers. This is 284 News. Now, we are so honored to be joined by the reigning Soca Monarch King of the British Virgin Islands, Mr. Ramon G. himself. Welcome.
All right, thank you for having me.
All right. So, Ramon, I remember the first time I met you was actually at the prisons.
Yes.
I was judging the prison. They had a poetry competition, and I was really blown away by the plethora of talent that is housed up there. But I remember being refreshed by your performances. I mean, you would have complied with some of the inmates, of course, collaborated, I should say, with some of the inmates for their various performances. And, I mean, you have the voice of an angel. I don't know how better to say it. But just tell us about that experience, first of all, and why it's so important for you to be a part of activities like that.
Well, you know, the experience was amazing as always. You know, God has a way of doing things. He puts us in certain positions to become, you know, staples and maybe the spearhead rather, you know, to open some doors and stuff for other people. And for the duration of my life so far, that has kind of been my, you know, my whole life. Like, you know, I was, for some reason, at the beginning of everything, like starting different programs and even down to the music program that the prison had at one point. I hope that they're trying to get that back, but it was just, for some reason, I'm always tasked with the beginning. So, you know, it's very special for me. It's important, especially for the kids, because we have a lot of kids. We have nephews, sons, little brothers, and cousins and stuff that look up to us, you know. And even though we're in a situation like that, I always say, look, this is not the end. You know, we have, you know, a lot more to life. We have to basically, to everybody who's incarcerated, who is about to be, or who just came out, that was not the end. Like this, why not use that time to prepare yourself for where you want to be, where you see yourself going in a few years or even a few months. Like, I had no idea I would have been where I am so fast, you know. It kind of, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but, you know, it's very, very, very special. Like, it has been, my first 8 months out there has been really, really productive, and I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you, and we really appreciate the talent and how we've been able to see that talent displayed again from the prisons. I personally was blown away. I mean, like you rightfully said, this is just a stumbling block. A lot of them have a lot of other things to offer besides, you know, the mistake that they would have bumped into. Now, for the very first time, I know you've had a singing career, but for the very first time, you dabbled in the Soca Monarch competition this year, being able to secure the big win, King.
God first.
So tell us about that experience and what even got you into it.
Well, I actually been planning that one for years.
Okay.
Like, you know, a lot of my time in the prison, you know, I've been sitting down and just like I said, I used it as my stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. So we stand up on a stone, I try to knock it off.
Foundational, yes.
So, you know, I've been planning it for a while. I've been watching, doing my homework, and, you know, basically trying to get myself up to par as a performer, as a songwriter, as a producer, engineer, the whole. Like, I have a whole lot of hats, man.
Because I see you doing a bunch of different things. The other day at Christmas on the Castro Street, you're emceeing, you're also playing.
And singing.
Listen, you're doing a lot.
Yeah, and big up to Miss Jan. Like, I love her so much, like her mother, you know.
Yeah.
But she brought the best out of me on Christmas at the Castro Street. Because I had to do everything that I know, you know. But I've always been a drummer. I'm well known for my drumming across the Caribbean. And me doing the singing is really new, but it's not new because that's what my dad, he was, God rest his soul. He was the Calypso King of St. Thomas a few times. So, yeah, so he's in the blood, you know. But I've been plotting it and watching and doing my homework and getting it together, you know. So when I came out, I say, you know what, here in the VI, both US and British, we have a lot of talent. And we're missing a lot of the preparation and the marketing and you know, we have to go through, like put yourself in the right position to succeed. And that's
Right.
what I was seeing. So I say, you know what, if I want to do this, if this is going to be my future, I need to hone it and just go for it.
Prepare for it. I love
Yeah.
that. Oprah Winfrey famously says success is preparation meets opportunity.
Yes.
So you got in, you won the BVI Soca Monarch, and now you're dabbling in the United States Virgin Islands. Of course, through the preliminary competitions, was able to advance to the finals.
Yes.
Now, before we get into that, viewers, I'm going to send you to a quick clip of the preliminary competition that secured him a space in the finals. Let's watch. Great clip. So now, Ramon, I know championing the stage locally is one thing, but to
Yeah.
go out between the big fishes on a wider scale and be able to do that, how are you even able to do that?
You know, like I say, it's God again. Like he just gives me directions and I follow to the best that I can. So it's been, you know, it's been a little tough, you know, especially with, you know, my parole and stuff like that. So we had to acquire special permission and stuff for me to travel.
Wow,
So,
okay.
you know, it came a little late because of all the paperwork and all of that. But, you know, again, like I say, once you're doing what God wants you to do, it comes true. So it came through a little late, you know, and I don't really get scared. Like, I've been doing this a long time.
Right.
You know, so
This is your thing, man.
Yeah,
This is your
yeah.
thing.
It's not that I was scared, but I'm a guy that I'm very particular. I like to be prepared. I like to, you know, but sometimes you have to be ready to just do it on the fly. So
All right.
you know,
so you're now on to the finals. That's
Yes.
January 2nd. How can
Yes.
persons or our viewers support you in that process?
Oh well, I'll try my best to have it. I think VI Consortium, they have it live.
Okay.
You could support. Hit me up on Facebook, Ramon George Blacksmith Entertainment page. You could just reach out to me anyhow you know.
All right.
Instagram, whatever. We're about to have the same song. It's not actually released yet. But
Okay.
due to the recent turn of events, it is about to be released on Friday.
All right.
So it'll be out. Just look out for it. And just a little hint, they have a music video. We just shot that. Yes, we shot that in October, November.
Exclusive on 284
Yes,
Media.
yes.
You got that release. All right. So in wrapping up, I need to ask. I listened to you speak about the importance of preparation and how critical that is to success. And we live in a time where millennials, I feel like we have it a bit more easier than persons of the yesteryear. And a lot of persons are looking to get it done overnight. They want this overnight success. You said you've been preparing for years. Speak to the listeners who maybe have something they want to get into and to the importance of preparing and like you said, honing your craft.
Yes. Well, I could say this much. Like, you could look at, we have a tendency to look at, like, the big stars and think that it happened overnight. And you would listen to them sit down maybe in the same very seat and tell you that, you know, my success may have came overnight after maybe 10 years of preparation.
Right.
So it just took that one day, that one performance, that one song, that one whatever, that opened that door. So we have a tendency to only see the pretty side of things. We don't really look into the work, the footwork, the different relationships that are built and broken, you know, through your progress. Maybe you had to break a lot of relationships because yours going this way and, you know, and I would say this much, try your best to prepare and get yourself together first before you start to acquire help from outside, because if the people outside pull away their help, you fall flat. So if you have your foundation set, even if you're switching maybe sponsors, maybe your camera crew, whatever, you know, you could still stand on your own. So
Right.
that's what happens to a lot of people that fail. And I don't like to say you fail. It's just a next chance. To have
Trial
another
and
try.
error.
Yeah, just
Awesome.
another try, you know. So most people that end up in that situation, it comes from not self-sustaining. You have to self-sustain and keep your motivation. If you don't fix yourself first, there's no way you could change your world after. So you need to fix it.
So pour into you before you pour into the world.
Yes.
All right. So I did ask you before we got on set for you to take us out with something. I know we're in the middle of the Christmas season.
Yeah.
Bless our viewers with that beautiful voice.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we'll always be together if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough. Oh, here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we'll always be together if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough. Just want to say Merry Christmas, yo. Simple as that. I don't even want to sing the rest. Just have
Ron,
a
we have
safe
some competition. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for joining
You're
us. We
welcome.
have to wrap up and head over to my partner Ron, who is on set with the youngest entrepreneur in the British Virgin Islands. Ron, take it away.
Well, a lot of talent here at 284 Media today. And speaking of talent, I am sitting with the lovely and the youngest entrepreneur in the beautiful British Virgin Islands, the one and only Kaylee Smith. She is a fourth grader who attends the Joyce Samuel Primary School, and her business is called Island Flavors. Kaylee, welcome to 284 Media.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
So I am really curious, how in the world did you get into the lemonade business? How did this all start for you?
Well, it started by me liking lemonade, and my brother had a project and he had to build something. So I took the opportunity and used his stand to make a lemonade stand.
So this was initially your brother's project, and you took it and turned it into an entire business. Do you understand what you just did?
No, yes.
Good, because it's a major deal. I mean, tell me about your lemonade stand and some of the stuff that you offer, the different flavors that you offer.
Some flavors we have are sorrel, watermelon, lemon lime, cucumber ginger, passion fruit.
Yes.
What's our next?
And you
Tamarind.
got the tamarind, and you got the black and...
Black and blue.
Because I had some the other day, and it was absolutely delicious. I mean, you have some friends who might be at the Joyce Samuel Primary School. You're in fourth grade, so they might be looking and saying, Kaylee, I have an idea too, but I'm scared. I'm sure you might have been a little bit nervous. Can you give them some encouragement? What would you say to them?
I would say just believe in yourself, because I never thought that my lemonade stand would make it this far.
Amazing, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's some very good advice. Believe in yourself, because you never know how far it will go. Now, you work very closely with your parents, Dwayne and Kanika Smith. How is it like working with your mom and dad?
It's fun.
Okay.
Nice to have their support.
Amazing, amazing. How does your brother feel about this, now that you've turned his project into an entire business?
He's excited.
He's excited, and is he also supportive as well?
Yes.
Now, how can persons in the community get in contact with you if they want to purchase some of your lemonade?
By my mom's number.
Okay, so they'll give your mom or your dad a call. Okay, and you had the opportunity, you were very busy this season. Most kids your age are, making a list and checking it twice, and you have been out at the admin drive for a number of days this week. In addition to that, you were at the Christmas in Spanish Town, and you've been working closely with the BVI Tourist Board. What is it like taking your Christmas vacation and really working hard as you work? How is that?
Well, it's not as I thought my Christmas would have been, but it is nice.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'd just like to say how proud I am of you. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the viewing public before we go?
Not really.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I had the honor of tasting, my wife and I had the honor of tasting your lemonade, Kaylee, and it's absolutely phenomenal. The most delicious lemonade in the BVI. You have to check it out, whether you want a glass or a gallon. You have to check out Island Flavors. This story is a testament to true ingenuity, drive, and parental support. You can take a little idea and just turn it into something great. And Kaylee, we support you here at 284 Media. We thank you for stopping by, and we wish you all the very best.
You too. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with so much more. You're watching 284 News.
What are you really running for, boss? You could have bust a hole in your head. But see, with the competition, which means you're about to bust a hole in your pocket.
I could get my modem, please.
Anyhow, I got something huge to show you.
I gotta be sick in your head.
The whole on string bean, Tina kind of party. Check this. That's LTE1 for just about everyone. LTE2 for you and your boo. And hold on. Bam! Rate so low, you feel like you're free. That's LTE3 for you and the whole family.
Save even more on your internet with new pricing from CCT. Get LTE 2 now for only $149. Get LTE 3 for the new low price of $189. All packages are unlimited, so there's no overage charge. You don't have to run into Chaz for savings. Just stop by our store and sign up today. Come on over to CCT. Life Unlimited.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch again? You say you were sick? What happened to over the rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
Viewers, welcome back. Jovan, that's a lot of magic in one newscast, my friend.
Am I blushing or am I not?
You're having a moment.
I'm gushy
You
right
should
now.
get it together and let's head into this story. Topping our newscast again, Governor of the Virgin Islands, Augustus Jasper, on yesterday, Tuesday, December 17th, met with members of the media for his monthly check-in press conferences. Governor Jasper has vowed to make it a mission to address the media as often as humanly possible. As the territory prepares to usher in the new year, Governor Jasper also shared his high hopes for the territory and plans his office has for the upcoming year. Now, the old government house was on his many list of things that he spoke about, which is presently being repaired since the hurricanes of 2017 and is expected, to be completed between January and February of 2020. The old government house museum is an ongoing project that seeks funds, furniture, and artifacts to display the story of the governor's residence built in 1880 and then again in 1926. The building was closed as a residence in 1996, then reopened and serves as an integral part of Virgin Islands history and heritage. It tells the story of all governors and their families that have served the Virgin Islands. As we approach the Christmas season, Governor Augustus Jasper lamented that there are still many families that are displaced or living in homes that are not up to par. In addressing the issue, Jasper said he is hoping that the government of the Virgin Islands will address the issue in the coming year. He said, and I quote, "As we go into the Christmas season, there are many among us who still are living and working and will spend Christmas far from in ideal conditions. This needs addressing, and we must continue to prioritize and support those in need. It's painful." Touching on the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Amendment Act 2019, which raised much conversations during the year and was passed in the House of Assembly on October 18th and has been awaiting approval by the governor. In addressing the issue, he said, "I am aware that there has been some concerns raised about the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act included from the media, as well as I've written to the Premier about those concerns. At the moment, it is with the Premier to consider how he wishes to move forward. Once I receive response from him, I will consider how I will take that forward." He said, "I hope that 2020 will be positive growth for us all with development and recovery, unpinned and tangible government reforms. That is something the government has committed to doing, and I hope in 2020 things move forward, that we have the structures ready to move forward. We have the offer of the loan guarantee from the UK, which has now been there for 2 years," he said. Now, Jovan, what we see here is our governor making a precise effort to stay in touch and touch base with the media as well as the general public. But he in his short press conference pretty much gave hope, and a lot of light in reference to how he envisions the territory moving forward, and a very heartfelt press conference where he spoke really to the needs of the people. And of course, we all know that that is his goal, to serve as a representative for the Queen, but not only that, to make sure that every resident gets the best of care and life here in the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
I think Governor Jasper is certainly one of the favorites when it comes to a past governor, simply because, like you rightfully said, he has managed to stay on the ground with a lot of things and been
quite humble.
Yes, very humble and very personal with the BVI community. We've seen the government, the BVI government, of course, setting that trend when it comes to, public consultations and updating the public, and we see the governor in the same breath. And it's very important. I think that's kind of how you bridge the gap between the legislators, the persons who govern us, and the people of the territory who actually elect them to serve in those various capacities. I don't know, there's something about Governor Jasper that really hits home for us. We like him a lot. We think he's very in tune with what's going on in the territory.
Indeed.
And we look forward to, him governing the years to come.
And 2020 vision, we can see clearly.
Viewers, coming out of one of the biggest white-collar corruption cases unearthed in recent history, a Superior Court judge on Friday sentenced former Schneider Regional Medical Center CEO, Mr. Rodney Miller, to 10 years in prison for his role in defrauding the hospital of tens of millions of dollars a decade ago. Now, this is in St. Thomas, United States, Virgin Islands. Now, Mr. Miller's accomplices, Mr. Peter Nigel Wicks, the ex-chief financial officer, and Amos Carty, the former counsel and chief operating officer, they too were both sentenced to 1 year each behind bars. Now, the trio was convicted last month on a combined, get this, 44 counts of embezzlement, fraud, grand larceny, and violations of the Criminally Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act and other related charges. Mr. Narowitz and Mr. Carty were given 15 days to begin their sentences. Mr. Miller immediately locked away. The three men were convicted in November of conning the hospital by paying themselves more than $3 million in raises, bonuses, and cash allowances beyond their contractual pay without obtaining approval from the hospital board. Now, Ron, just to piggyback a bit, this case started with an audit in 2016 by the Inspector General's office in a joint effort with the U.S. Department of the Interior. And within that audit, a great degree of waste fraud was detected within the hospital among the executive staff. Now, following that reveal, criminal charges were then filed and the trio arrested in 2008. They were eventually tried in 2011, but the trial jury was unable to reach a verdict. However, we see in the last trial, which is just recently, prosecutors showed how the man hatched an elaborate plan to enrich themselves by directing more than $3 million from hospital accounts at the Bank of Nova Scotia to their personal accounts. Ron, again, quite, I would think, an unprecedented outcome for persons accused of fraud. But more importantly, this really sends a clear message to persons who are involved in this type of activity, that nobody is above the law. And another message to the ones who are deeply embedded in it now, a clear reminder that the law is also coming for you.
Well, one of the things that I think it speaks to most importantly is the importance of, just like you said, audits and how keeping account, whether it be public funds or private funds. I think it's essential that persons understand when it comes to business and accountability that whether you're, it might be your funds or not, once you're placed in charge of it, you have to have accountability. And these audits are not simple things, just like we see in this situation. It unearthed a plethora of corruption. So we hope to see
millions of dollars, millions of dollars, and like you rightfully said, audits, and that is a issue we've been dabbling with in the past. We've been hearing a lot of that in the recent past BVI history. Just recently in speaking to, as a matter of fact, Honorable Penn, today we were just going over the details of the Public Accounts Committee that was commissioned recently. We'll be bringing you the details on that shortly. But they intend to look into these audits and, of course, work in compliance with the Auditor General's office to ensure that these major projects, especially the ones that were under, I would think, controversy, that the reports are brought to the forefront. So very important. Audits are very important. Viewers, that is it for today's News Roundup. Be sure to like us on Facebook at 284 Media, as well as 284 BVI on Instagram, as well as Twitter. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. We'll see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news. I know we gave you guys a lot of magic. Take some of that magic and just have a great rest of the week.
Take care.
It's been said, sticks and stones may break bones, but words don't hurt me. That cannot be further from the truth. Everything you say and do creates an impact. Whether you're 13 or 30, 6 or 60, your actions and words carry weight. They either lift someone up or tear them down. 1 in 5 students ages 12 to 18 has been bullied during the school year. Approximately 160 teens have skipped school because of bullying. The most commonly reported types of bullying are verbal harassment, social harassment, physical bullying, and cyberbullying. Remember, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about, and bullying is never okay, whether it's in a classroom or corporation. 284 Media joins the Ministry of Education of the Government of the Virgin Islands in the fight against bullying. When you see it or hear it, speak up against it. Let's end bullying.